Okay, it's live now. Okay, first of all, I changed many things here. First of all, everything about our model now in JSON, which is previously like this, now which is kind of like it's a PHP. So it's a PHP, PHP it's just a PHP, and now it's not a PHP, it's a JSON, and it be a little bit better to do that. I think so because I don't have to use this. This is I will say this is a little bit bigger than this, and also uh, the curly braces and everything is it's look little bit better. That's I like to say about that right now. That's it. Uh, Session is updated like that. There will be user and PHP SCSS ID and varchar and string. So we are gonna make match token ID, login IP, user agent, and PHP session ID. All of that. Maybe we should not do that. Uh, let's just stop there because actually, I because let's go to index maybe. Dot .php. Not here. Here. Let's go to backstart. Start. Dot .php. Uh, let's just stop this. Maybe if I do that, send this. Let's check the network this time. There still is a cookie request cookie. So every time there is a cookie or not. Let's remove this and open new private time and just go there and we're gonna refresh this again and see it's gonna whatever. There's no cookies there this time, and if we're gonna refresh this again, there's again no cookies about this. So should I should I do with it cookies or not? Because I think so. Cookies should be there. Uh, so it doesn't take that much maybe. Hmm. Where is it? I'm gonna refresh this. So first of all, cookies. Uh, Cookie. What is about this? Because I don't know anything about it. I should first know what is it. So php.org. Sorry, php.net. Okay, it's open. Lifetime option. Uh, I don't want to use in the cookie way. So I have to make it like over secure connection. So uh, path domain secure HTTP only available now. So basically all path. I'm not sure about this again. Set cookie parameter lifetime and that's it. Session name, session ID, time, lifetime. Let's go there. We are not we're just making a session start, and session start automatically generate many things there. uh, if I undo that and open in new private window and just sing and this, and let's refresh this again and see there is a kind of cookies there. There are cookies, so cookie will be generated every time. if I start the session. So should I use session or not? This is a very much difficult task, to be fair, because I don't know should I use OB session or not and OB start or, because I don't know anything about this. Let's see what OB section are. OB start are. Uh, मम्मा मम्मी आवाज कितनी ज़्यादा है? ओके, मैंने मम्मी को थोड़ा आवाज़ कम करवा दिया. uh, Turn on the buffering, output buffering. This function turn on the buffering on while output buffering. It's no output sent by or from the screen other than the header. Instead of auto store on the internal buffer. This context is the internal buffer. Copy the string variable using get of the content. Output can be stored in the internal buffer. Use alternately OB clean will discard some web server out. Change the working of the script is calling the callback. You can change it by the example chode directory. Okay, so something like that. uh where I am, some server is changed in the directory of something called the function. You can call back the chode directory with the server script file name. In the callback function you can offer the stackable. This is called the OB function, while other is pushing number of times. If number of output function are active, does many things. I'm option call levels. I think let's go to the function directly. So first is the callback, which is okay. There is null, and there is second is the chunk size. Second is the flag, and third is the PHP output handler flag. So there's a flag, chunk size, and bool. So there are three things there: OB gets content and OB and clean. First of all, there will be HTTPS thing to be, I think so. Let's go there also. Turn on output buffering. This function will turn on the output buffering while buffering is active. No. Okay, I think this can work. Actually, I can use PHP Session ID. First, I check for session ID, and then I actually check for token ID. So it will be a little bit different there, I will say. I think so. That will be a great idea to do things in the backend. At least I think so. Uh, creating a unreasonable out buffer. Oh, one second. I think in session I forgot to add one thing. The session we are created should be has some kind of timing. So remember me, so something like that. It can be tiny int and data type can be bool. So remember, I think that can be work fine there. Output controls, there are many things here and there. And output control is all about OB. So okay, should I use OB start or not? Is it make my function fast or slow? I have this question now. Because I know PHP is not fast, but if I can, I don't want to leave any performance on the table. Coming in back in 5 minutes, 1 minute maybe. Uh, okay, maybe this is fast enough. Let's do something else now. What I'm doing now? Okay, OB start and session start session. P start. Let's just go there maybe and see what it's actually do. It has options. Current session status. Is this session status? It's not a start session. Start session this. Okay, so start the session. Create a session of current one uh, on a a succession identified by a get or post or passable by the cookies. Session start call when session auto start. PHP will be open create session over handlers. Either will the built-in handler provided by the default of PHP extension by SQL and memcache. Oh, I can use SQLite there. Oh, I think this is a good idea. Okay. Uh, how to enable SQLite? Session start with SQLite. The thing is, SQLite probably doesn't take uh, PHP. Uh, install SQLite PHP. Maybe extension. Actually, this is Fedora, and so it's basically Red Hat based so operating system. So it's probably gonna work with SQLite for CentOS. So that is my take here. SQLite 3, maybe that's the thing. Oh, this is open right now. PHP. Let's open terminal. Sudo dnf install PHP 8. Oh no, PHP 8. Sudo dnf install PHP SQL3 SQLite 3. It probably is wrong. This time it will be right. It's a PDO, but check PHP installing extension. There should be some kind of command for that. They given us the video but not a command. Why? Just give me command. Let's check PHP help. Maybe it's gonna help me there. So it's probably just doing this. So PHP version work. PHP version is working, but nothing else. Maybe PHP H work. Okay, so it's working, but uh, file extension argument ini. Okay, so there is a calendar. Yeah, SQLite is there. So SQLite is there. So uh, let's try to use SQLite there because I forget about this. And MH I don't know, but SQLite I think this is a very good way to do things. Now return false if no longer initialization when start the session. Session start and echo welcome page. Session start, cookie lifetime. Is session start is secure? It's 10-year old, too much old. It should be a little bit updated. It's still 9-year old, but it's modified 10 year later. So, and this is very okay. So there are two measures: session fixation that can be session regenerate ID. Session that can be prevented by the data encryption by SSL certificate. You can turn will run now with HTTP, yes or not. Can show store if you are on the shared server where you cover no, you can actually show your session to, you can show to your store session to default as is, as opposed by you can show to the store, you can show to store your session in a database to as a the file. It is too old. Basically three things there. So session fixation attack, what are these? I'm gonna complete this tomorrow, but session fixation attack and many things I have to solve it now. What are these? Let's check the YouTube. The thing is,
sessions in the site to gain access to a user's account. They do this by getting the user to use a session that the attacker has access to. There are several ways they could do this, for example using a shared computer in a library for instance, or by getting the user to run code that sets their session cookie. Let's look at how the latter might work. First, the attacker visits the site and obtains a legitimate session ID. Then they get the victim to use that session ID. They could do this if the site is vulnerable to a cross-site scripting attack, for example. This happens when displaying user-supplied data without properly escaping it first by using code like this. The attacker could insert some client-side JavaScript code like this into a page on the site. When the victim visited the site, this code would be executed, creating the cookie with the value supplied by the attacker. Instead of creating a new session for the victim, the web server would see that a valid session already existed and simply resume the session. The victim now has the same session ID as the attacker. The victim then logs in and accesses a page in their account that is only available if they're logged in. As the attacker is using the same session as the victim, they also have access to anything the user has access to. So how can we protect against this type of attack? Well, first, you can make sure you avoid cross-site scripting vulnerabilities by escaping any user-supplied data when you display it, by using the HTML special chars function, for example. You can also use the session regenerate ID function, which changes the session ID but maintains the session data. The session regenerate ID. First, you can make sure you avoid cross-site scripting vulnerabilities by escaping any user-supplied data when
that can be possible, but your client is dumb and he installs some kind of extension and it's do that, because many extension actually do that.
you display
I will say it can do that. It's not like
it by using the HTML special chars function, for example. You can also use the session regenerate ID function, which changes the session ID but maintains the session data. So the victim would log in, still using the compromised session, but when they authenticate correctly, the session ID is regenerated, meaning that the attacker no longer has
this is region study. What is this? World session ID is equal to session ID. Okay. So if I put this function there, because I'm not destroying anything, unless there I can set in the different function if I want to. So let's just use this. So let's see now how this gonna work like that, because there is a session ID. Is it get replaced by something else? Et, is it 1G? Okay, so it's actually get replaced. So okay, it's working fine. Basically this person is correct. I like to I have to like to do that, because anytime I call some kind of a session, some kind of answer positive, I can't able to question anything. Let's ask the question, because I think I am pretty much sure I can't ask question. No, I can't ask any question. So first of all, let's see this session hijacking, how it's work, what are the issues. how it work on PHP, because I don't know about anything else. I'm gonna maybe actual not actually section can be changed the actual section value on the website, but can change the session ID. That can be track the session. This session ID is stored on the client by the browser, which usually name p. Also, session cookie when session started on the site, store the unique ID corresponding to the session in the prospective client in the both cookie named as a PHP session ID. If PHP session of any ID can be released with the victim of is the result of session ID liking. Mm. Uh, this is very big and 2011. It should be little bit, not little bit. It should be very much outdated. If anything is more than 10-year old, I'm gonna. Okay, so anything is more than 10-year old, it is usually not helpful. If you are gonna do that, it's probably gonna make thing worse for you. Explicit session ID, accessing ID, in person. Uh, what is this? How much big is session ID is? So I can actually guess how much previous is that, and question it is request cookies is a response cookie. So every time it's cooking on a oh yeah less. It doesn't like it's not like speed getting hampered by anyway by this session regenerate ID. Uh, and also how much big is session ID is this? Uh, length of 26. So 26, I think 20. If it's a 26, it's probably can easily, because 26 mean more than billion. I probably 26 zero. How much? And it's not a zero. It's about alphanumeric. It's an alphanumeric, so it can be mean. Let's calculate it by science. No, advanced maybe. There is iota 26, 36 iota. No 36. How I calculate iota? I forgot about this. Is it? Oh no, financial is uh, programming. Uh, 36 iota. What it called? Iota. Iota. I'm for. Oh no. Ah, it called something else. I forgot about this. Yeah, 36 into 1 second. 2 into 3 into 2 into 1. What's this called? Uh, it's called something. I know that, but I'm forgetting what it's actually. Let's see the YouTube. Maybe somebody actually have my. Oh no, this is live. It's me live, but I'm
Somebody has answer
forgetting what
there.
it's actually. Let's pause this. Nobody's watching, so how anyone can answer? See, I am only one watching this, so that's the answer there. Four. Maybe I have something good here, but I'm not sure about this. Anyway, I in 11 12 there is a form. There is a iota. I'm sure about this. Oh, iota is not iota. What is? I forgot about everything. 36, 35, 34, 33, 31, 30, 29, 28. Let's see. This is shitting with me. Uh, Something is very wrong here. Uh, I think this is a GP. Uh, GP. GP in math. Maybe this is a GP in math. Uh, huh. That's it. Formula. I want formula. These are the Baiju. I don't want to go to Baiju. I figured out myself. Geometric. I don't think so. It's just geometric progression, because if it's a geometric progression, then it will be, its constant should be there. There is no constant in there. I think so. It's just a plus one, and it should multiply. So I'm here wrong, very much so. Whatever. 36 is enough. I will say. I'm not gonna say that only, and PHP session is gonna, if gonna do that again and again and again. So that's kind of secure, but it's not a way to do things. I think so. I should do in the some kind of other way. Uh, so, parameter. Yeah, this session start with SQL. Um, that can be a thing here. Here is not SQL. Maybe not SQL. No status. SQL. So there is SQLite. This is the built-ins provided by default PHP extension. Let's search this. Oh, there is only one thing here. So SQLite session start. PHP session start. I'm still not. If every time a session get what I'll say, reassigned, kind of, that also means it can't go back unless actually we put everything in kind of angular way. Then it's possible. Maybe anything kind of front end. Let's see. Is this gonna work if I go to background is? Uh, there's ATU. If I'm gonna do there are two. If I'm gonna do there are two. It just, I am not still not convinced about the session. Should I use session or not? This is getting really out of my hand. I don't know. This will be that much difficult. Let's see this. Uh, mm, let's see this. Usually W3 school is little bit easier compared to anything else. So It's too much easier. Nothing advanced is there. That's the issue sometimes with that. This. No. I understand it's validating everything in an int, but this is array maybe. Okay, so it's actually we are saying there's okay. Third thing is callback there. I think so. Not a callback. This function I needed anyway because because I have a in session, not this session. Where does the session go? This session, there's a. I can actually remove that. I'm not sure about this anymore. Login IP, which has to be string and varchar. 2 to 5 because I'm not sure about this because it's it's better to prepare with the IPv64. I'm not sure about it. It's getting very much adopted right now, but ever. Filter validated filter var maybe. I cannot see that in later filter flag, filter validate, maybe something like that in future, but not right now. Right now it's all about except exemptions. So I have and session also. Basically session is the main topic here because well, first of all there's a public open session. Uh, SQLite 4, SQLite 3, 4 save session PHP. How to set up as a okay, this is it. I think this will work probably. So as a request, if you want, it will just in the memory store. SQL by default is software library that still contains serverless zero configuration traditional SQL. It is more important previous. Unlike MySQL, it will require you to write custom session handler included in the initial session for the PHP, much like what is memcache? Oh, so it's actually using RAM. So I'm so sorry. I'm not going to use it anyway then. Okay, first of all, I have to do it in the terminal. What is it? Let's go PHP ENI. I know. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Let's see where I can find sudo nvim etc etc stpd stpd config php dot ini. Okay, so it's working. Okay. Everything is kind of. What is the option? A session. Uh, I need to find that. I can't able to see everything here. Session. Where is the session? I think I increased this limit. 256. Data handling. I think there should be some kind of session thing here. Dynamic CLI. Hmm. What is directory there? It's fast, really fast and reading. let's go to session. Maybe I can find some kind of SQLite 3. There's a session, and what is that? Session save path or save handler? Session save path. Save handler. So basically upload. Only session write when session data is changed, enabled by default. Okay, so enable upload progress. Hmm. Hmm. Session SSID host. Default production value. Development value, production value. It can be 256 now. What is 180 here? This is it. So session save handler. Save handler or save path. It doesn't seem. Save handler SQLite. So session save. So there is a file. We are going to change the file. It will be SQL Lite. SQ Lite. It is 3. No, it's not a 3. And also we are going to change it. This also. and path should be maybe temp is a right folder. No, it's not a right folder. I think so. It's not a right folder. Hmm. PHP session. Uh, db dot db. Maybe this will work a little bit better than anything. And also restart sudo system. Oh, I think I should restart there. Okay, so it's kind of working fine. So everything should be now stored in auto canon uh, indexing.in, not this. It should be about our. Let's see, it's gonna work or not. It's a 51 ms, and it's just doing everything on locally. It's not like my server is little bit somewhere else. It's just here. Latency should be much lower, and which is not true here. Let's just remove this id that, and let's see the speed now. uh, it get decreased, but not that much. First time it's much higher than anything we have right now. Say maybe just a remove session. Let's see how much it get fast now. It doesn't seem it's actually doing anything else. The thing is, oh, but the lowest end of the ms is 6 7, and most of the time it's remains 7 or 8. With this let's see that is it's my. I'm gonna look for minimum. It's 7 ms, and let's just do it once more. So it should came again 7. If not, that's mean there is no. It's 6 now. It's 7 now again. Let's see, it's gonna go to 6, like before it. 6, it's actually go to 6 also, so it doesn't matter anyway. Oh, gee. Maybe I just create some kind of session there and make it a global. Let it be there. I think session regeneration can be very much tedious, I'll say. Mm. Let's ask internet, should I use session or token? Mm. And basically this session, oh, again, this session that actually made is basically based on the token format, not in the session normally format. Because if I'm doing everything around my session, it should not be on my MySQL. Should be somewhere else, something like that. But I'm going to do that now. Set cookies parameter. I done somewhere some kind of session thing, but I'm forgetting that. Hmm. Okay, actually I done that cookies. Okay, I done that cookies. Ah, I remember just now where I do that these cookies. But it's not about session. It's not about that. It's just about remembering something is there or not. And it's totally front end. It doesn't do anything on the back end. I never think cookie gonna pass on the back end. I don't think so. I'm passing anything on the back end probably. Oh. SL PHP session. Uh, but PHP session ID can be used for any kind of forum and submission. It can be very much useful. Uh, I think that's a very good idea. But again, as as should I use session and token both at the same time, and or I use session and this getting little bit more ridiculous as time pass. Session versus token PHP. what he gonna say about it. Enter second. Let's listen. Maybe he gonna copyright this video, but not like that.
User authentication.
Oh no.
There are two main ways to get the job
Already seen
done,
this video.
sessions and tokens. The traditional approach on the web is cookie-based server-side sessions. The process begins with a user filling out their username and password and then submitting it to a server, which then
OMG.
validates it, creates a session in the database, then responds with a session ID. The session
I think OBS will get more voice now. Is it getting less voice now? I have no idea. It seems it's getting the same kind of voice as before. So why it's not? OMG, something really bad happened here. I don't even know from how much long. That doesn't show anything.
ID will be saved in the browser's cookie jar, which is a place in the browser to save key value pairs that will be sent back to the server on each subsequent request. It can then respond back with content designed for the currently logged in user. In other words, we have a stateful session between the front-end client and back-end server. This approach works great, but there are some drawbacks. It can be vulnerable to an attack known as cross-site request forgery, where the attacker points the user to a site they're logged into to perform actions they didn't intend to, like submitting a payment or changing their password, although the risk is very low, especially if you use a modern framework to implement your code. The bigger problem is that you'll need to store the session ID in a database or keep it in memory on the server. Because most of today's cloud applications are scaled horizontally, this can be a huge bottleneck in production. And that brings us to token-based authentication, which solves this problem, but introduces its own set of challenges. The process begins the same, with the client sending its login details to the server. Instead of storing a session ID, it generates a JSON web token. The JOT is created with a private key on the server. Then it's sent back to the browser where it's normally kept in local storage. On future requests, the JOT will be added to the authorization header prefixed by bearer. The server then only needs to validate the signature. There's no need for a database lookup somewhere else in the infrastructure, and that's way more efficient when dealing with a distributed system in the cloud. However, tokens can still be hijacked by an attacker, and they can also be difficult to invalidate, and they can't be used to authenticate a user in the background on the server. Here's the most important thing to understand. With a session, the authentication state is handled on the server, while tokens are managed on the client. This has been user authentication in 100 seconds. If you want to master web security, check out Web Security Academy. My friend Bartos is launching a 12-week coaching program. It's not your ordinary course, but 12 weeks of high-value group-based learning. And I'm teaching my own module in the course on Firebase security. Check out the link in the description to learn more, and I will see you there in a few weeks. Thanks for watching.
I have. Let's just remove that. I don't think so. This is getting session ID should be 1 cent only, and we are gonna check this data from somewhere else. So it doesn't has to respond anything. But if I change it and let's just store something in the session and let's see how it's gonna handle that. Oh, that's how it's gonna handle that. So session with the IDs and ID gonna generate will be Let's make it like 1, and it's gonna run it if is set uh, session id, and then do nothing. uh, do nothing, and if it's do something. You're gonna do something like that. So we're gonna echo. Let's see how it's gonna respond with that. It's definitely mean that JSON, even it's just JSON, but response will be 1. And if I'm gonna do this again, its response will be it's just 1. It should have 1 plus 1. Is it forgetting something here? Echo br. Let's don't do this 1. If we're gonna do that again, just do it 1. Nothing else gonna change it here. Isn't this gonna add it 1 in with 1? So let's make it 2. So something should be different here. It's it's not doing else. Okay, so it's actually heading to like that. And if we're gonna make it like API, let's do the API. It's gonna add the 2 again. If we're gonna map S, it's gonna add the 2 again. But what if we go to back? What if I just go to indexing? But I don't do here, I go here. Okay, so I think this should work. This is fine, I think so. Mhm. I think this is easily can bearable. This is bearable, I'll say. About other things, it should be deal with our session management, which has more than just a token, because we are gonna make sure it has same user agent, same login IP. Login IP can be changed to be fair, but uh, it's not like maybe we should put it there or not. I'm not sure about this anymore. Again, I'm not sure about this. Uh, if I gonna refresh this, how it's actually do 3 2 every time it's generate. Every time it's generate 2. Why it's generates twice? It should generate once. That's it. Let's see. Why it's generating it twice? Once, 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 once. Why it's generating twice? Should I regenerate ideal on last maybe? Let's go to our index page and do it in the last. So why it's generating twice? That's such a weird thing to say. If I remove this, how it's gonna respond? There is still very much issue, I will say. I'm not sure about it, how I should go from here. There are many things can be possibility because always starter session has uh, and I like to say it has some kind of performance beneficial. It is performance beneficial, and especially now it's gonna say valid everything on the SQL Lite. It's probably a little bit better than before. Uh, I still think the session has a more versatility, I will say. The thing is about login IP, especially, it's a little bit tricky here, I will say. The biggest thing is if there is a uh, if you go to different network and there is a different kind of login ID, you have to log in again. I'm not going to allow you to log in it. Ah, and also user agent is definitely is a 100%. It has to be same. User percent mean no actually. What I can say, we can do anything special about user agent because it has to be same. So login IP can go on if we want. Login IP can go on. Session ID can be gone. So basically, we are just using. Maybe I've just. We should actually use session ID, and above that, we are gonna use token ID because it will be more secure that way. And one more query for server doesn't has too much downside into it because let's see how fast is SQL server is. Select. Okay, so first of all, let's select this, and oh no, it doesn't actually produce how much time will take. Let's check the terminal. Maybe there I can see. What the hell is that? I just log in it. Okay, okay. I've okay. So I'm gonna make it. For how to select a data first of all. How to select database. Oh, use. Okay, database change and select from photos. 0.0010 it doesn't take any second. I'm not saying that. So even if it's a very big data, usually doesn't take any second for MySQL database. It will be very very fast. That should be clear. Even we actually put where id is equal to 1, it's still very fast. If it's 3, there is not, I'm able to, I will say there's not much data, but still it's not a very expensive I will say resource usage. So I'm gonna make it like this. Every time session id will be regenerated. That's that should be clear. And it doesn't like it's gonna regenerate anyway. And but token always will be the same. It always will be same. And we are just using generate data to actually locate, okay, he is this. It doesn't save anything. It just a linkage. So whatever it hold has, like first we read what is the session id name. Oh, session id, maybe session id, and echo that. And we're gonna check this session id. This is the session id, but next time it will be something else. And there is a cookies. This is last time id, this is new id. We are going to check this id and select our session and change php session id here, and it will be 36. So maybe is it 26? I think it's 36. So we can actually set also it's 36 maybe, but not let it be there. It doesn't eating any kind of resources there also. So there is user agent. It will be it's no, it's will be long text because why not? Because it can be little bit longer. Let's see the service.json service Okay, long time, something like that. So PHP session ID only work for remembering session ID, and it's gonna update every time session ID here, and update at actually gonna remember every time it's get updated. So every time it's getting updated, it remember that, I will say that. But if there is a somebody actually put remember me on, remember me on, if anybody say it's true, what should I would do then? Because if somebody is actually say remember me, uh it's possible that his session ID will be changed. uh it's not possible. It can expire, his session ID can expire, because it has very restrictive time on our, where is it? Okay, first of all, let's exit that. So let's go. So there is a session thing, in session there is a session save handler, save path, save cookie, session ID, and LSP and PHP and everything else. And there is a GC max life, and also there is a cache expire. Let's see cache expire also. I already actually seeing that, but no, it's very different comparatively, and it's only 26, not 36. Just time to cache live pages in minutes. So it's only on cached for 180 minutes minus 3 hours. And what about GC? Which after which data seen have a potential cleanup. Is a number of the second after which data was seen as a garbage potentially clean up. Session garbage collection may occur during sessions start depending on session GC probability, and I again it's after this second store data seen as a garbage. What is the store data? Store data in PHP session. Something is there. What is he talking about here?
In this lecture, we're going to understand how to store the session data in the MySQL database table. In case if you want to store a session data in the database, then this is the right tutorial for you. I'm going to show you how you can store the session data using
Okay.
argument session and specify null value to it. So this is the default value to this argument. Then I'm going to execute this my array keys. So when we call this here, I'm going to create insert.
What is happening here? Let's just show the code only.
Store the session data in to understand how to store the session data in the database. To this method, I'm going to have in my table I have name and year column.
I want
So I'm
to
going to
know
create a
what is
key,
GC
name
max
and
lifetime.
year, and I'm going to pass values to it. So when we pass this session variable to this method, I'm going to have these values and keys in these variables. So this is the very easiest way to insert the data in the database. I hope you understand how to store the session data in the database. If you like short videos like this, make sure to subscribe and like this video. I will see you in the next one.
Lifetime. Normally main session will die immediately, but depend on the option like GC probability set to 0. Versus cache expire. Doesn't help. Very simple, but not simple to understand. We might has my things. For example, I log in and then hours for days. No problem. Not probably definitely. This default 0 bin. The default value is 0 is this complete. This value is for the server. This is setting session collection session garbage collection. If the last visit if user last visit happened not compulsory, just happen. This is value for the browser. This absolute limit the cookie active. 0 mean immediately when keep hitting one. I have no idea about these.